Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark Amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and I'm joined as always by Mr. Kyle Fergusson. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Garrett. How you doing this week?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm getting my head back in this game. I'm learning how to draft again, which means I still haven't done Hero League because I just don't feel ready.
Well, it'd be the core. Last week I was like, hey, the core audience is back, but now it'd be like the people who just play Heroes of the Storm.
Cool. So next week when I honestly, like tomorrow, I think I'm good. I did some more practice today, and overall, drafting is feeling good. I'm using some cheat sheets. I've been reading a bunch of stuff. I'm looking at stats. I'm even using Hots Draft on the regular, which I gotta say, I really like that. I really like that tool. They've updated it with all 6 bands. They've got White Mane in there. It's all right.
It's got some good focus to it, and I'm glad to hear it's helping you out. Were you feeling just overwhelmed, left behind?
Yeah, like I said last week, man. By the time I got back from vacation, the meta had shifted so much that I felt like I didn't really have a particularly strong grasp on the situation. Which is to say, towards the end of my practice today, the bands just started getting a little weird to the point where I'm not sure how much studying really matters. At a certain point, I think I just need to practice my heroes, and I have been practicing my heroes, and I'm feeling pretty damn good. Zagara's back on top of the stats. It didn't matter, I was playing her anyway, and I think since coming back, I have like 100% win rate and unranked with Zagara.
Nice.
So that's working out well. I haven't played that many games, mind you, with Zagara, but she's...
Are you finding that things are pretty tame and unranked?
Yeah, everyone's getting along. I've also been winning more than I've been losing, but I had a couple losses that were really positive. Like, everyone's just like, man, we gave them hell. We tried real hard. Good job, everybody. You know, everyone's still like, you know, slapping each other on the back as we stare upon our imminent demise.
Nice. My games have been very much the same in attitude, certainly. Everyone's been very friendly. Wins are hard fought, and losses are good job. We gave it our all. I wish we had done X maybe. But the real problem right now in my league is just the queue lengths. It's easy to feel like each game is way more important than it used to be, just because you're waiting that 5-10 minutes for it.
Yeah. Yeah, my queues haven't been that bad. I mean, I'm lower than you. I'm more in the average populace of this game.
Yeah, so this week I ended up fighting Bad Benny Methods.
I heard about this. He is one of our favorites in the house. Katie even likes him. Not that she particularly follows Heroes. It's just that he shares a name with her favorite Instagram chihuahua.
Oh, well, perfect. He destroyed us, and it was a fascinating experiment. He was placing at the time, too, so it wasn't like some sort of matchmaking faux pas. It didn't break. It just was trying to figure out where to place him, and Diamond 3 currently isn't the place for him. I wish I could have more experiences like that. We got so destroyed by his Diablo, his perfect positioning on the map, his hiding in every bush and slamming the right character into a wall. So many Diablos wait in those bushes, maybe, on their own side of the map, for one. He was on our half of the map hiding in our bushes. And they're like, oh, Johanna's the first one. Get the Johanna. But like, he would wait. He would wait 3, 4, 5 people would roll past. And then he'd grab me, the Kael'thas, or one of the squishies in the back, and he'd destroy us. It was a great opportunity to learn Diablo. But as for learning my own hero, like, what could I have done better on Kael'thas? There's really nothing I could do because I have to have expectations of my own league. When I go out there, I have to do damage. I got to kill you. I can't expect everybody I fight now is Bad Benny. I'd hide behind my wall the whole time.
Well, and that's a good lesson you learned right there.
Yeah, that's true.
The previous game doesn't matter. Throw it away.
Yeah.
Well, not all of it. If you learn something helpful, throw it away. But if you're afraid, put that aside.
Exactly. Got to get back on the horse, back on the bicycle.
Yeah.
And And I also had my first Hero League Deckard game of the week, or of the whole Deckard release, actually. I lost it, but it was fabulous, and I feel like I'm getting a hold of him.
Good. Deckard can he can swing to either end of the feel good, feel bad spectrum pretty easily, depending on how clustered everybody is for your potions. Because it's like, because if they're clustered, it's the difference between saving a life and healing someone 5 who's to full, and then your tank dies and you're just like, ooh, that feels terrible. And that's the only point in time where I'm on Deckard thinking maybe Lily was the right call here.
Right, and that spam ability and the instant response of it. I know I'm in a bit of a advantage in my own league because I have the engage. I can say this engage on this. I can lay out tracks of potions that are in certain directions, knowing that tanks will likely take the aggressive pathing and squishies will take the passive or defensive pathing. So they don't really steal each other's potions in that way when I lay them out.
Okay, well, that's good. That's good. I still prefer Deckard to Lily in most scenarios, but just, when it feels bad, it really feels bad.
Yeah.
It just feels like I'm trying so hard and my potions are landing on the wrong people. I swear, guys, I'm trying. But, it happens. It happens. But overall, man, it's going well. I think Jaina is my version of a bicycle. Like, I can just not play her and then pick her because it seems like the right way to go and everything just works out.
My gut reaction would be like, no, that's too busy. There's so much fancy stuff you should be doing. But I don't practice Jaina, but I do take her, and I do well when I do. So you're not wrong. There's something about the ice block farming, though. There's something about, like, the nuance, the rings, that feels like I should put more work into her than I do. I just get wins.
No, the thing with the Jaina, and this is what I don't know, someone on the internet is going to get mad, but just take top damage out of your head. You're not going to get top damage, but you will probably get top kills.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
Just think about Jaina as securing kills. Don't worry about a larger damage number.
Well, we'll see. Speaking of larger damage, we'll see how future weeks pan out. I've been having a fantastically good time and win rate on Raynor, but he's rarely available. There's a certain hero who's also human who has a good auto attack build now due to some updates. His name is Hanzo, and I'm kind of getting into him.
I've had a lot of games with Raynors this week. I've had a lot of games with Hanzos this week. Hanzos are on the regular in my games out DPSing Raynors.
Yeah.
In one of my games by like 25,000 damage. And
it's a lot of raw damage, granted. Like, Raynor's there, he's got to physically be present doing the damage, whereas Hanzo can be half the map away, still getting some poke in.
Yeah. Yeah, Raynor's also my trigger this week. The one really, really bad experience I had was on Raynor. It was my first game. I was so excited, Kyle, because I was seeing it. I was playing game after game, and I'm like, Raynor's getting banned last. It might happen. I might finally get to take him in a draft environment. And lo and behold, the stars aligned, and I finally got to first pick Raynor in a draft, Kyle. This hasn't happened to me since his rework. And the opposing team drafted Cassia and put every blind ever into me, and I never connected any damage. And my entire team turned on me and just started shitting all over me. And I'm just like, guys, I'm trying my best. The Cassie is blinding me. And the Hanzo, who's just running away with the damage, is like, don't get hit by blinds. Yeah, because it's really...
Right.
On Raynor, man, you can dodge Cassia blinds like crazy. Wait, no, you can't. He's slow.
Well, also, like, on Raynor, if someone was like, dodge Asmodan, it's easy, I'd be like, no, I don't have Vault. Like, I get half a second of warning. What do you want? Cassia is nearly instant. Oh,
thank you.
That's just sad to hear. But Cassia, as of yesterday, was the top Hero League win rate in the game. Has fallen back down below Raynor since then. Of course, whenever there's a patch, that Cho'Gall guy is at it again until someone ruins it for them.
Yes, it's whatever. And those game played numbers are so low that you just don't, it's pointless. Don't look at those numbers.
Yeah.
In the last 7 days, 104 Cho and Gall games.
Yep.
you can't draw conclusions from that.
Compared to the 9,000 Raynor games and 30,000 Raynor bans.
Most banned hero at the moment, followed very closely by Chromie. The only thing that surprises me here is how far the jump from Chromie in second place to the third place hero of Azmodan is. There's over 10,000 bans of a spread there. Azmodan is terrifying. Chromie isn't winning games right now. What's wrong with everybody?
You know, the people who were already enjoying Bronze Talons are having a good time on Chromie, but the ones who weren't used to getting into auto attack range are very dead.
Yeah. She has she's fallen a bit. Not terrible. She's stabilized. Ban the Azmodans, everybody. Good Azmodans scare me death. Like I wake up sweating thinking of good Azmodans right now.
Well, it's that the lane presence, winning a lot of solo lanes right now, the late game power, the fact that supports have really just been whittled down. If we were in a different support meta, Azmodan would be completely countered by the top-off capabilities. But right now, actually, thinking about that, maybe that's the Rhaegar thing. Maybe that's the speed of Ana. Look at Brightwing's win rate right now. Maybe those are the only healers that can put out enough throughput to keep Azmodan's poke from winning the game.
Maybe, Kyle. But yeah, overall, really good. All around good. Haven't had a reason to pick Brightwing. I was still feeling great about Brightwing after last week. I guess we didn't talk about it on the show. We did our team games last week with our patrons, and my Brightwing was oppressive.
It was an amazing performance. Those polymorphs were crucial, destructive. We had an 11-minute Spider Queen to finish out our evening.
Yep. I almost didn't pick her again because I just wanted to play a different hero, and I'm like, nope, too perfect. Too perfect. Yeah, but there was no reason to take her, but I'm significantly in the green in my practice on ranked draft games this week, so I'm ready, Kyle. I'm
time
ready.
To head in, get the placements done.
It's time to go. The dust has been sufficiently shaken off, but I'm still going to keep cheating and using HOTS draft. My brain still isn't quite in the right place.
Well, of course, my next question is, how's Whitemane feel for you?
I love her, but I've been specifically trying to get back into Hero League, so I haven't been playing her.
Sure.
Yeah. Really, really like her. I like having her on my team. It's been wild, the experiences I've had with her. I feel like I've had more wins than losses. The Raynor game, there was a Whitemane. She was the first one to turn on me. So I'm a little mad at Whitemane right now, but I realize not all Whitemane players are that Whitemane.
No, you mean maybe she was role-playing a bit much? I always like when the salty characters get salty, though.
I like
takes
it.
The edge off.
I like it when they're doing half as much healing as the enemy healer and they're yelling at the Raynor.
Yeah, she has some particulars for sure, and it was very interesting to watch the community and my own chat and channel work through our thoughts on Whitemane. Basically, day one, I think a lot of us were sitting there going, "Man, she's second support. What did we do here? What's going on, Blizzard? You wanted us to get away from two supports. Why would you do this?" But then we realized we took a step back the next day and we said, hey, she doesn't have the lane clear to be a second support, so we have to make this work. And then the HOTS logs got updated. We saw that she had a 52% win rate there. And I feel like just that information went, oh, okay. It's okay, everybody. We can continue to solo run her. She still looks really good alongside things like Tyrande, who can reduce armor, because her Inquisition heal is based on the damage that she deals. And there's some nuance to that. Like protected status on Medivh or Varian, doesn't matter. You still deal full damage, even though the damage isn't applied. So you're good to heal into that. But Garrosh, armor, Brightwing even, these will severely reduce your healing output if you target the front line. So even that sort of information started to change our play style. And you called it, Garrett. You called it last week. I was all clemency. I wanted people to go on that clemency train. But martyrdom and just going down the line and making all those desperation plea heals, that's the right way to do it.
Yes, that's how it felt. I was just doing it in try mode and looking at numbers, and I was just like, "Oh, this feels and looks good." So I can't claim too much, man. I just thought I was just like, it feels good. I like it.
Well, and the power, keeping your mana up, but really it's kind of the Deckard factor. You have that Lucio level of health, and when you take Martyrdom at 1, each stack of Desperation increases your Desperate Plea healing by 30%. When you are running away, you are going to be self-casting this desperately. It really helps to get a shield later on at 4 when you go to that max level. It helps to get all the max level stuff, because that's really where you're going to use it. Otherwise, you're casting pretty calmly. 1 for you, wait the 3 seconds, 1 for you. But you got to keep yourself alive if you're actually going to support your team.
Yeah. It's this... We talk about it a lot. It's been a while since we brought it up, but that invitation to make a mistake. And we usually talk about it like with a single hero. You can think about it like something like with Kerrigan with her shield, or someone who can self-heal, where you can lull your enemy into this sense that they can win the fight, and then suddenly your abilities come online and you have a massive edge on them, and you're just like, yeah, okay, you're inviting them in to make that mistake. And you get that I feel like you get that twofold with Whitemane. I've had a lot of Whitemanes healing me this week, and one particular game, I think it was my last game I played today. I was Nazebo on Volskaya. And
Nazebo looking great right now, by the way.
And Nazebo is always in fashion. I say this time and time. He has never... When was the last time Nazebo was even close to a 50% win rate?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's always healthily above it. But anyway, we had a Whitemane healing us, and it's like, if you talent the way you just mentioned, you're in your Whitemane and someone dives you, you're inviting them to make the mistake of spending their cooldowns trying to kill you. And you're healing yourself, you're popping shields in the process because you spec the way that you just mentioned. But also, if then they swap and attack like one of your teammates, in this case, it happened to me a lot on Nazebo. The opposing team had a Leoric and a Diablo on the front line, which was a little bit terrifying as an Nazebo player. I don't have an escape mechanism. I'm going to get entombed, and then the Diablo's going to come in and just murder me. And I saw it happen time and time again. They would start attacking the Whitemane would pop her stuff, they stop attacking her, and then they switch to me, they entomb me, and Whitemane just starts healing me and starts doing her beam, and I can just stand there. I threw Leoric, who was guarding the exit to the entomb because he casted it, into my zombie wall probably 7 times over the course of the game, and killed both the tanks so many times because of the healing that was coming off of Whitemane plus the damage that was coming off of Whitemane. And the other 3 members of our team would see this happen and would react accordingly. This just start firing over the entomb wall and murder the tanks and rout the rest of the team.
I think what the double support really gave someone like me was the confidence to play Whitemane correctly, to say, oh, the rest of the team's taken care of. I can be aggressive and let me get out those Inquisitions that I need to do the healing in the first place with. Now we can cut those training wheels off. I don't need that bonus Bright Wing on my team. We even ran with an Ariel. It was great. It was good fun. And those I noticed as I ran with the second support, the higher my healing and my damage was. And it was all just knowing that when somebody targets you, stand your ground. Don't keep running. Take the spec for one. Really helps out.
Yeah. And it really, to me, I think the first thing is to conquer your fear of the way her trait works and causing your heal to cost more mana, and knowing when it's worth spending the extra mana to have your trait on more than one target.
Yeah, she doesn't have mana issues because nothing else costs mana. So this is what you use Plea for. And when you see that mana get real low, guess what? You're probably back in much later than Deckard had to, or Lily even had to at that point.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, overall, really liking her. Like I said, that bad Rainer experience, it kind of stuck out in my mind. I'm like, man, this Whitemane's talking smack, and her healing is crap. Is this just Whitemane? And then I had 2 or 3 more games in a row where we had a Whitemane, and she was killing it on the heal. I'm like, okay, all right. The jerk Whitemane was also just a bad player.
When we look at other stats for her right now, heroics are dead even. So congrats to the team on that. I'm still loving the damage. To just have like a team-wide almost ancestral heal to drop on everybody. When you look at maps, shouldn't be too big of a surprise. She's really good on single objective maps where she can focus up. Dragonshire, Braxis, probably take something else. You're going to be divided up all the time. There's going to be those angles of approach that can gank you.
That being said, I'm thinking about it. I would not mind, using a buddy system with White Mane on Dragonshire.
Sure.
Like, if I had to be stuck with one other player defending one of the nodes, I'll take a White Mane. It sounds okay.
Ooh, yeah. Well, she's got a good long slow on her. That root, I'm still taking the root talent because I want to get better at it. It's not too hard to do, in fact, because it has a delivery time. A sort of, if you aim it out in front of them, by the time it sort of rectangles back towards them, you can get that root on the very first cast. And something running alongside like maybe a Cassia with that martial law.
Yeah.
Any sort of, what do we call that? It's not the giant killer. It's the...
battle momentum?
No,
not battle momentum.
When they're under CCs, you do bonus damage thing.
Executioner,
yes.
My brain. Thank you. There we go.
Raynor.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that at 1. That'd be pretty good.
He does still have that at 1.
It's only certain kinds, so it's not the whole thing like late game talents get. His is only stunned and slowed, but hey, Inquisition has a slow on it.
I mean, the stats we have access to through Hot's logs beg to differ, but I think the damage numbers I've seen from Raynor's at my level are looking pretty normal now.
Yeah, he's getting better. He's tuned down, and actually popularity on his talents has started to even out. Still a lot of unstable compound at 7, but you supply your own slow. Of course you want to do that so that you can keep auto-attacking.
Yeah, I tried getting weird in the Cassia game because I was like, well, I'm not going to be landing a lot of these, but there's only so much you can do. It's your auto-attack is still that's your damage on Raynor.
Yeah, he does suffer. There's no like hungering arrow build for him to be like, that's fine. Let me just go all into penetrating round and just cover my time while I'm blound.
And just hit you once and it doesn't bounce and just wait 10 seconds before I can do something again.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You can't, penetrating round specking does not make up for not landing your auto attacks.
Well, and I think he'll only continue to go down because right now, at least in my league, Johanna is tank number 1. Everybody wants her.
Johanna?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. She just so many compositions that she just fits into. Like, when would you not want your enemies gathered?
Surely there's some... Really? Like, there's got to be some... I know there's something in the game that's like if you... Muradin? Muradin has that Thunderclap talent where if he only hits one hero, he gets bonus damage.
Yeah, man, I'm really concerned about my Muradin maxing his damage out.
My Muradin alongside Johanna getting... Yeah. Damn it, Johanna. You ruined my Muradin build.
That's I win. I win this conversation.
Yeah, well done.
It just kind of works, and she has bounced back from the armor apocalypse. So yeah, it's Johanna season, man. She's once again, as you always used to call it, the kitchen sink. She's got a little bit of everything you need.
And I feel like people are using blinds for things like dismounts and keeping those rotations tighter and just really taking advantage of her whole kit.
Yep. Plus, Kael'thas is back. Anytime Kael'thas is back in season, Johanna's going to be best friends with Kael'thas.
Well, I actually learned this week that Jaina, her ice block does a chill when it ends, too. So you can just run in melee, jump into it, dodge all the opening spells, and then use all your spells when you get out, and they're all pre-chilled.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. If providing you're taking the ice block talent, I tend to skip it because I hate questing.
Oh well, you got to take. It's part of that frostbite now. It's the auto.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you're gonna get no matter what, but it is harder to do. Luckily, that there was that update actually as this week's patch with the water elemental, and he now can help you work towards your quest completion.
Yeah, they dropped the damage down, but now it benefits from frostbite.
Yeah, so it's a buff of sorts. It's a later end buff. So the burst damage coming out of water elemental, oh my god, it's water elemental, is going to be lower but now it's going to do more damage as it goes on, so its stickiness is going to be felt a little bit more.
Fair. Well, there's other stuff to talk about. Shall we just hit the news bumper? We're kind of in it.
Let's do that.
We're in it, but I like hearing it, so I'm just going to play it.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Click the play button, and let's get started.
Yeah, so obviously we're going to kind of start with Whitemane being out. We've already kind of talked about this. She's had a good release, again, with the stats that we can see. Doing a little bit better in Quick Match than Hero League, but still over 50% win rate across the board.
Yeah, 54 in that Quick Match, and pretty low popularity. Don't expect to see her in every game. I think it's a little bit of cannibalizing going on right now. Certainly feeling it in my own queues. World of Warcraft's hot. The Boomsday Project drop for Hearthstone. There's a lot of things on the launcher. And then, of course, they went ahead and were like, oh, hey, do you guys like Diablo? And every time they're like, do you like Diablo? Yes, I do. In fact, I haven't played Diablo in a bit. Maybe I'll play Diablo again. And we all go play Diablo for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that tends to happen.
So in comparison...
It's Blizzard insanity at the moment. If you're a Blizzard fan, it's ADD. It's ADD centric. I'm playing a different game every day, sometimes every hour, just swapping games.
I like the Tavern Brawl right now, too.
What's wrong with you?
I like the co-op ones, man. I like the ones where you fight a boss.
Ugh. Man, whatever makes you happy. But I can't think of anything that's vying for my attention less.
I know. I was doing that too.
I know that was on purpose. But yeah, we kind of already talked about Whitemane. Let's just continue. I mean, Jaina, we talked about the water elemental change. That is here. That is live. I just want to know, speaking of the pull to all of the different Blizzard games that are getting major updates right now, when are we getting a BFA Jaina skin? Because she is basically Elsa now, and she looks awesome.
Sure. Not the show to spoil it, but where was our cameos, you know? Everyone was showing up for the Alliance and Horde. We're just so cool. We don't need anybody else. Is all I'm saying.
It's because the Horde are the bad guys now. Apparently,
yeah.
You're just the villains, and you don't get any cool triumphant returns of major characters.
I like it. Don't need nobody.
Don't start nothing. There won't be nothing. No, but we started
Exactly.
it too. The Alliance didn't start anything. They just sat there. Anyway. I just want a new Jaina skin because her new outfit for BFA looks amazing.
Sure.
Looks
Could
good.
we make the water elemental a boat? Ring of Frost is a boat comes flying down and crashes into the ground, making Ring of Frost.
Just give me a boat shadow over the Ring of Frost as it happens.
Okay, yeah, like Hyperion.
Yeah, give it the Hyperion treatment.
Cannon firing sound effects.
That's basically arcane missiles, by the way.
Oh, that's true. That's
big
true.
Big pink blast. Whatever. Yeah. Now we're getting.
I'm sure it's happening.
We're spoiling things for people at this point. But the new skin is great. This look was shown at BlizzCon last year. That's why I'm a little more okay talking about the look of Jaina. I just like it. It's great. I need this skin right now. We got, the updated War Chief Sylvanas pretty quick when she got her updated look in World of Warcraft. So I bet it's coming. I bet they're working on it.
Bring it on.
Yeah. But the big meat of what we're going to cover today is the Q&A, which just happened not that long, like minutes ago, over on the Heroes subreddit. And we're not going to talk about everything that was mentioned there because there are a lot of comments and a lot of answers, but we're going to highlight some of the more interesting tidbits that came out of this Q&A. There were a lot of developers in attendance answering questions. Matt Cooper, the lead content designer, Stas Spivakov, I'm so sorry for pronouncing your name probably very wrong, the tech director, Zeus, Joe P, Cow Milker was there obviously, and then Juno K and David G, lots of devs. So if you want to read it in full, we got a link in the show notes, or you can just go to r/Heroes of the Storm But the thing I wanted to throw right at the top was all of the talk about Team League and how to make it, quote unquote, a more attractive mode. And Blizz Cooper started with the traditional Blizzard reply of no immediate plans, but apparently they've been thinking about this, and he shared a lot of what they have been thinking about in his answer. So everything I am about to say is pie in the sky, maybe, who knows. But the options of what could happen to Team League are it could become a mode that is only available during very specific windows of time, meaning it would not always be playable. I don't like this one.
I mean, it fits our format well, right? Like, in principle, it doesn't sound great because you're cutting people out of game. I'm not available that time of day. How does this work across different time zones? If it's a smaller window, is it weekends? I can't play on the weekends. I can only play on Tuesdays. But here at ITN, we do our patron games, and I love those. And particularly at the end of the season, Team League is bumping. Everyone wants to get in there and just get their mounts done. So the games are wacky and filled out, and the matchmaker's crazy and has plenty of options for your Rainbow League teams. Whereas if we got in right now, 3 p.m. on a Saturday or on a Thursday, like, we might face something that just destroys us. The most practiced Garrosh thing that's ever existed.
That's a good point, but I don't know. I like both, I guess.
Yeah.
I kind of like going in there and fighting the regulars who have their finely tuned cheese. Versus, I mean, if I had to pick one of the two experiences, I like it better at the end when it's like everybody in the pool. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not like, I don't think this is insane. This is not an insane line of thinking. I get where they're coming from. And Cooper put a lot of emphasis on, like, if we did this, we'd be creating a moment. In his words, they would be celebrating the mode during these windows. They would be encouraging players to join it. But overall, I think this might be my least favorite of the things that he suggested. Other things he said that Team League could be updated to allow all group sizes, including solo players and 4-player parties. I love this idea.
Doesn't this just mean, though, that if I want a sweet border, I would just play whichever mode would give me the easiest access to the sweet border?
Do you care that much?
No, not really. I just really want good games. So
right.
Maybe I'm not talking about myself here.
Yeah, my point being, like, if you care about the border, cool. If you don't care about the border, cool. That's kind of my line of thinking. I don't know.
Yeah.
'Cause to me, it seems like a good opportunity to make friends out of the blue, especially if you're that solo person.
Sure. And what sort of person would be like, I'm gonna go into Team League and I'm gonna find 4 people and get mad at them, knowing that they're all on voice comms and I'm not. Like, it won't work out for that guy. He's gonna get 4 reports if it goes that way.
Yeah, my line of thinking is, if you go, if this was possible to solo queue into Hero League and also to obviously to queue as a 4-stack, that if you're that solo player, you're going in with the mindset that I'm about to toe the party line. Let's go, and that's cool. And obviously, it's not foolproof. People might get in there with bad attitudes, having a bad day because they just got out of bad Hero League, but they want to keep playing, but they want to draft, but they don't want to do unranked, so they end up in solo stack Team League. But I feel like that would be edge case scenarios.
Right. It's getting on the Duel and Dragons, and you do the solo league, and then you're sitting there next to a family of 3, and you're locking in, and the kid's laughing and having fun. And the mom's like, "Oh, are you excited?" And you're just going there, "Oh, jeez." You guys don't ride this often?
Yeah.
No one does that. Everyone's along with it.
I don't know. I think I just like a mode with points where there's no limit to party size.
And 4 people parties kind of have it rough in the game.
That's what I mean. Yeah. It's like you got unranked and in quick match. Like, I want a points mode where it doesn't matter what size your party is. You can just go. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's your go-to mode. You still have something that it feels like you can make progress on. And if it is Team League and it's something where I can get rewards from, then even better, in my opinion.
True.
So I like, personally, this one I really perked up on. Another thing he said that they've been brainstorming is combining Team League and Hero League into a single queue. And then there was a bunch of follow-up to like kind of lower the blow of that. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Soften the blow. But like Cooper said, they want to make sure that dedicated Hero League players feel like they can have a pure experience, whatever that means. And so that with combining Team League and Hero League into a single queue, also possibly having multiple ladders, which to me sounds like StarCraft 2.
You know what? I've changed my tone on this a lot. It's been so long since Duo Queue Hero League was a thing in the first place. But I really wanted that unique solo experience. However, objectives, rotations, we don't hang out in our solo lanes for extended period of time. And if you hit level 20 and decide to go off and do something by yourself, for the most part, that's a really, really bad decision. And you should be working as hard as you can to be part of the team in Heroes of the Storm. I really like solo queue in Dota because I need to last hit my things. I'm trying to become a god amongst all of us, and I want to own and control and win this game for my team and have them praise me and support me and make me look awesome because I carried.
Okay.
That's just not possible for the most part in Heroes. I'm here to play as a team. And in fact, I really don't want to take the solo lanes anymore because that feels like the most passive activity. And often there's some guy that's like, you guys all team fight. I'm going to play World of Warcraft down here. And you're like, wait, whoa, we'll go quest somewhere else, bro. Like, let's play the team game. We can take that camp all together 3 seconds before the objective. How's that sound? He's like, well, I could solo it over 30 seconds. How about I do that? And you're like, well, no, not anymore.
Yeah. Rufus in the chat room is asking, why would any solo player queue as Team League instead of Hero League? And like my kind of like knee-jerk reaction is less is up to chance in my mind. In my mind, for people that have made the choice to play together, I have a better chance of finding a cohesive unit of teammates to play with than I do 4 completely unconnected strangers in a Hero League matchup.
Yeah, it's funny to think that when we think of 2 people being able to queue together, there's the trollage chance increases. But when you think of 4 people together, you join a solo and they're like, solo guy, you got trolled, man. Welcome to the team. We're going to lose. And like getting in his face about how bad they're all going to play.
If they're having fun with it, though, I feel like I'd have a good time. I'd be like, all right, I'm getting in on this. What's the trolliest thing I could pick?
Yeah, you want me to go murky, bro?
5 support. Let's do this. Woo!
Yeah.
Like,
right?
You just described a good time.
Exactly.
Like, I'm okay with that. When everybody's on the same page, relatively. I'm not saying don't be a sheep, people. I'm not saying go be a sheep, but.
Well, and voice comms has changed so much of this because we want everyone to be in there for the most part, and we want to coordinate and have sweet plays. And now that the 2 stack could communicate with the 3 stack or the 3 single riders, it feels like it can just come on back.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. This is also interesting to me. Like all of these, even the specific windows of time thing, I'm like, sure, let's just try it. Let's see what it's like. He also mentioned turning it into like more structured, where you have to like form permanent teams with team names and stuff. And has this game been going long enough that I'm unsure of this? But isn't this how it used to be?
Right. When we first got the game, I think we paid 1,000 gold.
Yeah, in the tech alpha.
Yeah.
You had to pay gold. You had to found the team. Like, they already did that. I liked that. I thought that was cool. It felt special. But at the same time, I also like the idea of just making it as open and as friendly as possible. And no limit to what the parties have to be.
Well, and that's really the problem with it, was we had 5 spots, and then they're like, well, we know somebody might not be able to make it, so you can have up to 7 spots for your 5-man team, and you can only be on 3 different teams because the system, hang on, let's just drop this.
Right. And that's where it got weird. The idea of naming it and whatnot, like, that is fun. But I'm older now, and that stuff doesn't really work as well as it used to back when I was raiding on the regular.
Sure.
So, I'm sure it'd be great for some folks. I don't think it would work great for me. And then Cooper also talked about what they don't want to do. And what they don't want to do is they don't want to force players into a competitive mode if they are not looking for a competitive experience. They want everyone to just play what they like. So they have no interest in increasing the numbers of games to unlock Team League rewards, which was a suggestion. So they're not going to do that. I think rewards should be more accessible. I think they're already locked away enough.
Yeah, that's something that's been going around a lot, is this idea that if we up the number of games played, people who don't want to do it won't do it, and our queues will be better. But in all reality, they may still stick it through.
While simultaneously, Kyle, a lot of us are complaining about queue times.
Right.
So what do you want? Because you can't have both.
And that's something that came out through so many different posts this time, is why are queue times getting longer? It's like, well, you asked for matchmaking quality. So which do you want?
They are mutually exclusive, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Unless you have an obscenely large player base.
Right.
Which this game doesn't.
No. And also, we're a Blizzard game on the Blizzard launcher, and there's not a lot of games, and every time Hearthstone has an expansion, we get longer queue times.
You're right. Hadn't really thought about that. Unless you're like me and you're like, oh, I understand nothing about Hearthstone right now. I'm going to play every other Blizzard game until this settles down.
I have.
Yeah,
well, I'm doing that too, because I always spend my dust poorly, because I'm like, hey, that's OP. And then I'm completely wrong, like Inspire, which I bought a million things of because I thought Inspire was awesome.
I still make I still accidentally spend a bunch of dust out the gate, but I leave myself enough to catch it on the rebound once the dust settles.
Dust settles. Dust settles. Dust in the Hearthstone.
Oh, not even remotely intentional, but cool.
They did address this directly, though, with season rewards, and saying they're considering season quests that would be obtained over the course of the entire season, so that they may sort of space it out, that you have to participate over time rather than in one big go.
I don't like that either.
No, you wouldn't be for...
If I want to binge it, let me binge it. Maybe that's the only time I can play the game.
It kind of relates to like time gating in World of Warcraft right now, doesn't it?
That's a stretch. You're talking about an MMO with 1,000,000,001 other things you could go do.
Well, but what if, like, let's say, so you get a mount, you get gold, and you get a portrait for where you place. What if week 1 through 3 was the portrait, week 4 through 6 was a banner now, and so on and so forth. And certain times of the team league was certain rewards. And if you had completed the chain quests along the way, you could get them out.
What is the goal here? Because some people want to increase how hard it is to get rewards to keep somebody out of there, I guess, whereas others want it to be more accessible.
Right. What we're battling there is the idea that Team League is just not filled out at all, and people want to play Team League with their friends. Please find a way to make Team League fuller. The other people are arguing that the match quality is so low because people just go in, get the loot they want, they don't care about the particular games, and then leave. So we want them to... we want both. We want both, and that's the problem, right? We want them to stick around and be good. So this is one of their ideas to do that. This
is why I come back to relax party limits, so that no matter how many players you have, as long as it's not over 5, you're just like, you want a team league? Yeah, we can team league. Let's just team league. There's no question of, oh, we can only do it with 3 or 2 or 5. You know, you're not leaving someone out on purpose. You're not bringing someone that you don't want to play with just to fill it out.
Sure, and ultimately for like my team, it's just the joy of the draft. We don't want to fight Chromie Genji at the same time without having some sort of answer to it. Often we've practiced drafting so much, we have a better chance to win in drafted environments because we know some stuff about the game. So we naturally pursue these ranked modes over others.
Yeah. To me, this is a team game. So anything that makes it less accessible, I don't look positively upon. This is This is not the game I go to get away from other people. This is not the game I go to feel like the single most important player. I can go play StarCraft. I can go play Heroes of the Storm. I can go play whatever fighting game you want to play. Those are 1v1 solo player experiences. I can play a ton of other MOBAs where carrying is a lot more traditional and achievable. This is the shared experience. This is not I'm going to use a car analogy. This is not your two-seater, no back seat, roadster that you show up for your hot date with. This is your family sedan. Everybody get in. We're going on a road trip and we're going to have an experience together.
Damn right, there's snacks.
Damn right. See, you get it. You followed. So that's kind of where my head is at. Like, relax it. Keep it as relaxed as possible. Just invite players to get in.
And there's a stigma for Blizzard games right now, which is working both ways for it, that it is a casual company, that it makes casual games. And World of Warcraft has become, for better or for worse, more casual. And every game they're going to release from now on won't be the hardcore audience. Embracing that's not a bad thing at this point.
Maybe we could make Hero League more competitive so that Team League looks more inviting.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea.
It's also going to make queue times longer, but
can't have both.
I'd rather have long queues than wackadoo matchups. But yeah, I mean, we decided to cut it, but there was that interview with the League Pro about his thoughts on Heroes of the Storm, and really the only thing I wanted to point out from it was that he was like, hey, there's too many maps for this to be competitive.
Yeah, we have that in the show notes if anyone wants to check it out. Wonder, League of Legends Pro, talked about Heroes of the Storm as one of his favorite off games to play, and he had some good points about it.
Yeah, and the map thing for me, like, that's the first thing I would look at. Like, what if Hero League had 3 maps, but Team League kept the open map pool, so it was a little more casual.
For me, games are getting really good. My losses feel solid. I have a great time, in fact, in my losses, but there's no reflection of that in the points. And when I wait that extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the weight of the game increases in my heart. And when I get, minus 208 on a loss, when it felt like such a good game, those are the sort of avenues that need to be fixed as we increase queue time.
Yeah. But there was a lot more stuff in this Q&A besides Team League talk. Hero swapping was brought up. Basically, hey, when is this coming? Blizz Joe fielded this one and said, it's one of the most commonly requested features. They talked about it in their April AMA, and they're still looking at it. They're still looking at it. They do have plans to include hero swaps into the draft phases for ranked play, but they do not have a timeline at this time. Joe did say that when it is launched, most likely they will introduce it into unranked first. So it's probably going to be the first place that we see hero swapping. They want to get it right because they still have some questions, because they also don't want to have any added pressure on players to play a hero that they're not familiar with because someone else grabbed it up because they thought it was right for the draft, but they don't want to play it themselves.
Yeah, something that was coming up a lot in my conversation with my chat, where's Whitemane belong, was, can she be early picked? And if not, she can't be one of our main supports. That's because if you're a support main and you end up in an early pick, you gotta have one of those supports that actually work in that field. Right now, we can't even select what our role is going to be. Do we like playing tanks? Put me with a team with someone who doesn't want to play main tank. Put me on a team that isn't all supports and we're all fighting over Brightwing and whatnot. That could also help alleviate the same sort of problem. And that's something that a lot of the other games have, the swaps and the selection of roles.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, the more of this stuff we add on, the worse queue times are going to get.
Right.
And we don't have the luxury of a player base as large as League of Legends.
So we talked about these other elements like Team League and Hero Swap. What they made very clear throughout this was that their big priority right now is getting the loss forgiveness online and the performance-based matchmaking working. And that's exactly what we're talking about. I don't care how long my queues are, But I got to feel good about my losses when they're still great games when it comes to the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm absolutely with you. And they mentioned that performance-based matchmaking and loss of forgiveness are on their way. Loss forgiveness is now ahead of performance-based matchmaking. It sounds like we'll be getting loss forgiveness first. It's also soon TM. So still no timeline, but the tip top of the feature list at the moment. So Joe also gave a little bit of an example of kind of how loss forgiveness is going to work, because there was a question about how disconnecting in-game only gives you a negative 200 points, whereas if you disconnect in the draft, it gives you a negative 600. So if you're a griefer, if you're mad or whatever, you leave after the draft, so that everyone has to now sit through a 4v5 with an AI. And Joe's basically saying that, hey, you can play that out. You won't lose points. If you win, good on you. You're going to gain points. So that's kind of how the loss forgiveness system more or less is going to work in a nutshell.
And if you haven't played in a bit Heroes of the Storm, you don't know on the enemy side that they have an AI. They make it secret. You don't see the disconnects. You don't see the character name become a character name. It's still got the player's name on it. So you can start to think to yourself, this is playing like an AI. Should we gank this over and over again? But you're not hunting like you used to. And actually, a minor kind of note in this last pile of patch notes was that they reduced the size of the replay files, which means that the reconnect feature actually got a pretty decent time upgrade this last go around.
Ooh, I haven't disconnected in quite a while, but that's good to know.
No, me neither. And so, I have no personal test of it, but apparently it's quite a bit faster than it was. Still not, speedy, still not perfect. I'm pretty sure you still have to listen to what your AI did with you.
I mean, I could finish a novel with the old speed, so.
Yeah.
Reading or writing, Garrett? Both. And then just some kind of miscellaneous stuff that I pulled out that was interesting. Joe dropped like a big list of future changes. They said that they're working on preventing returning ranked players from placing higher than Diamond 3 each season roll after placements. So that's a thing. They want to reduce the number of placement games required for returning ranked players. That's good. We kind of already knew this was coming, but we haven't heard about it in a while, and it hasn't shown up in game. So good to know that they're still working on it. They want to separate out the regional GM ladders to allow players to rank up within their local player base and matchmaking rule sets.
What does that mean?
I think that ties into the regional issues we were talking about last week with queue times.
Oh,
that's my read on it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they're kind of talking about that. Like, in lower population regions, they're having issues, especially in the higher end of the skill curve.
Sure.
So, draft swaps, we already talked about that. They want to extend the rank point decay to affect additional leagues. So lower leagues, essentially, because at the moment it is only affecting the upper echelon.
That's true. And I haven't heard any reports on it yet, but 20 days is still really giving. And I constantly sit around 23 with how I play.
Yeah. Yeah. You do kind of stream this game, Kyle.
That's true. I do play a lot.
And then they want to create more incentive for Team League. They already kind of talked about that. API. It is still a long way out, but they have spent time this year, quote, defining their API plans. So it sounds like they've finally drawn up a roadmap for what this is going to look like.
Yeah, we were pretty excited that performance matchmaking was ready out of the gate and we could move straight onto API, but there were difficulties and it got delayed.
And I have to say again, I know I've said this before, you've said this before, it bears repeating. I love this level of communication.
Yes.
Like the uncertainty, the being very open about things that worked, things that didn't work, things that might work, things that they may never even put on a PTR for us to try. I like that a lot. I find it fascinating. And I hope the majority of the player base sees these things and get as excited about it as I do, and that we don't get disappointed when certain ideas, maybe in Team League, for example, are put forward and then we never see them.
Well, and there is a certain level of snark that they have to face doing these AMAs, and it's an exhausting process. It's customer service, and they're taking their time to do this, and I really appreciate it. And they're striking at a great time, too. They're not doing this right as the season roll happens, when everybody's mad about placements. They gave it time. It's the core player base now who cares about these sorts of things.
Yeah, I dig. I liked a lot of the things I was reading there. I thought overall the conversation was very constructive. So, also promotion, demotion games between divisions. They're looking at just getting rid of that. You know, if you're going from Plat 2 to Plat 1, no more promotion, demotion. This is not even a thing that I was really thinking of, but now that it was brought up, I'm like, yeah, I do hate that. So I'm stoked about this. This is something that really never crossed my mind as a thing I wanted addressed, but now that I hear that they're actually working on it, I'm like, yeah, get rid of those. Why do you need that? You don't need that. It's just a bunch of added anxiety where it doesn't need to be injected.
Well, and you have to be fluid because the meta changes so much, and you don't deserve to be rank 1 in your division during certain time periods because you are X main. It's got to feel a little more,
and vice versa.
Yeah,
look at me with Zagara. I have my ups and downs, man. Happens. Same with Sonya. But yep. And then Stas said that they are quote, "We will only use another Q's information, meaning Hero League or quick match to Hero League, so on and so forth, to seed a player in a new season if they have never played enough Hero League games in any of their previous seasons to place into a definitive rank. If they did, they will ignore all other Qs for seeding purposes." So there's that. I know that was a big sticking point for both of us once that was unveiled at the beginning of the year that happened.
There's also no rank decay was revealed during this as well. So if you are placing into a diamond rank or even masters, if you're seeing that during your placements, and you choose to not complete those, you will not fall down with time.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's interesting.
So a bit of a mixed bag there.
Yeah. And did you see the bit about showing MMR? It was a little dense.
It is hearty. Lead the way.
I don't really have much. A question just came up once again about showing MMRs, and Gower answered it saying that, you know, this is something they have talked about. They've talked about it before. They talked about it openly before, and they're still working on steps to roll it out. It sounds like it's still a thing that they're working on. They just want it to be, in their words, organic, and that, you know, usually most of the time, rank and rating go hand in hand. There are cases where they diverge, and that goes into it. It sounds like it mostly affects like the higher end. This is why you see things like high masters and GM players playing with placement players.
Yeah, and you see the stuff the most on Reddit where, you know, the season is just finished. Some guy went, you know, 3-7, losing 7 of his placement games, gets into masters, and you know, salty man says, "Hey, look at this guy. He's got a below 50% win rate. How is he possibly in masters? This is all wrong." The system does need that time to fix this up. You know, we have the decay now. As you lose, you will fall, but your MMR placed you there, regardless of your win rate. So it goes, like so many things in this, both ways. MMR would make that more clear. I think it would reassure a lot of high-end players that when they're loading up into a match and they see all the numbers in a similar range, that they have actually received a good matchmaking, rather than what they see now, which is, oh, look, it's all Masters players. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Maybe they place there. Maybe they play a lot. Maybe this is their 6th game. Like, what? Tell me, machine.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you've said before that you're for this, so I mean, it feel good that it's still coming, that they're still working on it.
Sure. I mean, it's exciting. It's like checking the sheets for the school play. You know, it'd be a nerve-wracking time, of course, for everyone to get their number. But I think at the same time, when we lose a game and you lose 5 points, 6 points, 12 points, or whatever it may be, that's a little more achievable and communicates more than the 208s that we face now.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of this AMA was kind of reassuring us that things they've announced that they're working on are still being worked on. I think the biggest news out of this is that they're considering anything for Team League and that they gave us this many ideas. I thought that was just rad. I love seeing this kind of stuff. The other big thing is that loss forgiveness is sounding like it's the next thing to come, and that it's coming before performance-based matchmaking.
And again, like if I rode over that pretty quick, I don't get a lot of levers. The state of computers are pretty good in the league I play. I know that silver is a trial by people who often don't maybe troll, but a lot of it's just people without good enough computers to actually play the game who choose to play it all the same. And there's disconnects and all sorts of other issues. And getting that fixed up is a fantastic thing.
I mean, that was us when Wings Liberty was in beta, man. We both had total jank rigs. You were playing on a Mac Mini, weren't you?
Mac Mini, yeah. Lowest graphics, man. Well, I mean, it was a 1v1, right? So when I lost, the other guy went, oh, well, I guess I win. Like, I doubt he was too sad about it. It reminds me of my old laptop rating days where I would stare at the floor as hard as I could to make sure I didn't see any spell effects.
Yep.
Don't render those, baby. There was one other tidbit hidden in here that is worth saying for you quick match mains. Required healer and tank teams are coming, and they said sometime this fall.
Very cool. Very cool. Moving out of the AMA again, go read it in full if you want to know more over in the Heroes subreddit. But for you folks that may have missed out on BlizzCon tickets, more BlizzCon tickets are going up for sale. This is kind of a surprise sale. It's coming up on Saturday, August 18th. They'll be going on sale at 10 a.m. Pacific. 10 a.m. Pacific. If somehow you've never heard either of us talk about buying BlizzCon tickets on this show or any other show that we have done, make sure you're there right when they go live, because they usually sell out in about 5 seconds.
Yeah. It's and you'll see lots of F5 jokes. Don't do the F5 thing. That's not a thing anymore. The system's changed.
Oh, has it? This is the first year I haven't bought tickets.
Yeah, so you don't spam for resets. You wait patiently, the button arrives, and you click to enter the queue. You can read all sorts of strategies on it, too, but act calmly, or you'll ruin it for yourself.
Gotcha.
But it sounds like they expand. They certainly have added on the map one more stage beyond the North Halls, which they had last year. Now they've added a heroic stage, like out in the hallways, I guess.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, they're by the level 2 sign. I mean, this is becoming Disneyland, man. They're gonna have rides soon.
By the level 2 sign, North Hall. That's the. No, this is exactly the same. Oh wait, yeah. What is that? That is different.
Right, that's where there was like the meetup signs and the navigation board. So I guess they're just straight up putting a stage out in the halls.
Yeah, it looks like a relatively small one. So yeah. Oh, you know what? It looks like that would have been the stage that the voice acting panels were on last year. It looks like the legendary stage may have been expanded. Whatever, doesn't matter. This is terrible radio. Point being, the expansion was completed last year. The North Hall is the new room for the Anaheim Convention Center, and that was already opened last year and used for the Dark Moon Fair area, which has multiple stages within it, and the Hearthstone area.
Which I just love the Hearthstone Tavern because of the minstrels, and I always make sure I hang out there for a bit.
Last year was the first year I never saw any of it. It was weird, but it was so tucked away.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any actual Hearthstone esports. It was an invitational, and I didn't particularly care.
That's true.
Yeah. So there's that. There were plenty of other places to play Hearthstone.
Oh, no Diablo on the map again, but we got that announcement of an announcement.
Boy, was that boring.
Well, they got their theme seasons, and they're clearly going to announce a thing, and Path of the Exile is real big. My guess would be that Diablo goes free to play, as silly as that is. I guess you could, instead of questing for your Rift token, you can buy one maybe Hearthstone style with cash.
There is a tiny Diablo 3 demo area.
Oh, where is it?
In between World of Warcraft and Heroes of the Storm, right by a bathroom. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yep. Oh, no. Necromancer. Try it again. Well, maybe a druid, but yeah, it's a little small. Oh. You made yourself sad.
I really want more Diablo, dude.
Yeah, it's good.
Reaper of Souls was amazing. It was so good. I just want more. It just feels like a game where there should be more frequent updates. But whatever the case is, I'm stoked for BlizzCon, man. I'm finally like, we're on the back end of traveling and all that stuff. Finally starting to think about it. Like, oh my god, it's coming and it's coming quickly.
Yeah, it's something about the number 10, right? Because that's November. When I see the 8, I add a 2, and a 2 is a small number. Oh my god, BlizzCon's almost here.
Pretty much. Well, before we take an email or two and wrap this up, I want to thank our patrons supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. We have some new patrons this week. Thank you to Yuri S., Conrad L., and Mark L. Thank you very much. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's the opt-in way to support this podcast in a monthly subscription. Basically, ask yourself, how much would you like to give an episode of Into Nexus? And you can go and sign up, and it does that for you. And we are very close to getting back to our goal of paying a pro player to come on the show and share their knowledge bombs with us. Dunk Train was on almost all last year and part of this year, and we pay him for coming on, and it's this goal. We're very close. I've already noticed some patrons going in there and updating their payment info if it was out of date. Thank you very much for doing that. If you haven't checked your payment info in a while, go give it a look. Very much appreciate it. But now we're going to appreciate a mailbag. That doesn't make any sense. Emails, here it is.
Darkness stopped calling.
I hear the wilds call. Wait, nature calls.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
I know you want to be a part of the show. Why wouldn't you? Write in, itncast@gmail.com. That's where you can send your emails. Robert is going to kick us off this week, and Robert writes, I've grinded up Hero League from Silver 5 to Plat 4. Just going to break right there. Congratulations. That's a great climb. And seem to have the most success with the Playmakers. I play a lot of ETC and Uberak. GM, Greymane. I'm assuming GM is Greymane. And Varian. I don't know of a Game Master hero, although that would be pretty fun. It's just Chris Metzen.
I really didn't give two butts about Greymane until he was in Heroes. And since I had my heydays on him, gosh, I love him in World of Warcraft. What a great guy.
He's kind of in the spotlight right now quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad he put a shirt on, though. That whole Broken Shore shirtless thing, kind of.
Well, that was at the very end of it. He had the coat on, and then we blew his boat up, and I'm assuming his coat burned or something.
Something.
Yeah. But yeah, he looked weird. Shirtless old men, even when they're ripped. Creepy. Anyway, Robert continues, I see a lot of games decided by that perfectly landed mosh pit or cocoon/burrow, a pro Alarak combo, a Ring of Frost, you name it. What are some plays we can practice in solo queue that have that one-shot game winning effect? Just play Kerrigan. Don't stop playing Kerrigan. She is, her entire existence is a combo, and if you're not comboing, you're playing her wrong and probably not doing well.
It's funny how hard I had to think about this, and what a testament that is to Heroes of the Storm, because actually pulling off a full combo in most of the heroes is really hard. And in fact, here he's saying he plays ETC and that's a combo, landing a sweet mosh. Oh yeah, but we got to have everybody in range, and nobody's really dying to it, and you couldn't do it by yourself. And that's what makes it such a great team game. When I think about those sorts of things, of course, it's so hard to say, Virulent Reaction on Stukov, which, by the way, got even easier to do thanks to new Viper skin. It is, I think it's legendary. It's damn good looking. That Genji one, too. I don't play a lot of Genji, but man, I love cybernetic holding up a skeleton inside by Liquid. He's got those Bane injectors on his shoulders. Just cool. But the visual look of the pustule is increased on the Viper skin, making it a lot easier to land those sweet combos.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't even really consider Mosh Pit a combo. It's a playmaker. So just think of other playmakers. And I haven't really thought about this until this exact moment, Kyle, but I think the way I used to approach heroes was wanting some type of escape mechanism, something that moved me quickly so that I could survive. And I think the change happened with Spear on Sonya and realizing, why should I be so concerned about keeping myself alive by being able to quickly, suddenly change location. What I should be worried about is being able to suddenly, quickly change location and murder someone in the process, and that's the spear on Sonya. When you land that spear, everyone knows you landed it, including your teammates. You don't need to talk to them. That spear is landed. They're like, oh, kill that person.
Yeah, the call, seeing Sonya go in, and that's a great. I think Spear is really well designed for its later talents because the choice to escape or be aggressive. Well, aggressive wins games, right? We don't hide behind our walls the entire time.
Well, if Bad Benny's Diablo bush hiding skills is anything to go by, yeah.
Right, exactly. So one of my favorite little tricks that I like to do is just mounting up when we're in pursuit on Nazebo and putting that zombie wall right on over their gate. So they all get a little stuck during the escape. Not inside. I'm saying shoot over the top. Getting them inside is hard. You got to aim at them. This is aiming at a static object and literally saying this is no longer an escape. And same with Leorg Tomb. Yeah, you can get somebody inside it, but you can trap 4 people outside of something.
Mm-hmm. This is exactly how I land blizzards, by the way. If they have no other option than to pass through this area, guess where my blizzard's going?
Yeah, I mean, Chromie's slowing sands are still just monstrous if you end up fighting into a choke.
Well, that's because they just stay there.
Yeah.
Forever. It's Zombie Wall has a timer on it. Blizzard only lasts for 3 pulses. Convection is here and gone. Or not convection. Flame Strike. Here and gone. But Slowing Sands, it's just there. And it really draws the eye.
Well, and this is now used more in reaction for me because I don't play Kel'Thuzad. I want to, but too much of a gamble for me. He's fully combo based too. And on those combo characters, when you do see them miss one bit of it, you're pretty much safe to run circles around them. But man, you can do some really sweet deletes.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes down to your skill level, and you're going to have to practice. Personally, I find Kerrigan so much easier than Kel'Thuzad. I can't play Kel'Thuzad. I'm terrible at him.
Well, and that's why I play Alarak. His cooldowns are pretty short, 8 seconds, 12 seconds, 6 seconds. And I feel like I can be more dynamic. Kerrigan only has the pull towards you, whereas Alarak can also do push me away from you with an auto cast.
Yeah, but I'm okay being a one-trick pony, I guess.
I also really like Alarak because he's fun and he insults me when I play.
Also, I feel like when things are going right on Kerrigan, you're ready for another pull at some point in the fight. You can get a second pull, but that's, you've deleted somebody, you've gotten some shields, your healer's taking care of you.
The delay on it is so comforting to battle against. Maybe I've just been fighting Kerrigans for a long time. I really, really try to remember that Cassia isn't so different. It is that triangle, and if I just step sideways, I can escape without taking that massive amount of damage. But man, 90% of the time, I run away in a big straight line and die to fend.
Yeah. It's gross. Sorry, man. Happens to all of us.
I know. I need to get on Cassia again.
I wanted to bring this up at the top of the show, but we really needed to get into the AMA, but I'll say it here. I have been having the most problems against Diablo and Cassia in my practice games. They've seemed to really be the crux. Cassia's fine if I'm on a mage. If I'm on anybody who needs to land on auto attack, it's rough.
Well, Diablo has really fallen into his own spec, and in particular, Feast on Fear at level 1 gives you a lot of regen, and even auto attack talents like Malevolence doing spell damage, 100 more spell damage on your auto attacks once you land a spell. Like, he is destructive, and same with Cassie. The one thing I got to stop myself with Cassie that's so difficult is I love auto attackers. I love my Tychus. I love my Raynor. And auto attacking is just a dangerous proposition on Cassia. And just skip it. Just for the most part, don't worry about it. And that hurts me to say because it's free damage. Why would you turn down a free sandwich? It's free damage. But her poke, just go for Q build and sit back and wait till you have the right time to defend.
Because there's always a catch, Kyle. If it's a free sandwich, it's a catch. It might be a trap.
Might be
poisoned.
Might be shorter range than most and very dangerous to do.
Might have cucumber on it, and it's a bad sandwich.
Cilantro would be mine. I don't know why that'd be on a sandwich, though. Burritos are more mined with cilantro.
Banh mi.
Oh, yeah, the Vietnamese sandwiches.
Yeah, they're amazing, but there's quite a bit of cilantro.
That's true. But it is good. Yeah, you got me there, man. Yeah.
This just
that works out. But there's also like carrots on those sandwiches. So are they really sandwiches at that point?
I would like to point out that if you enjoy this sandwich conversation, you should go subscribe to Weak Sauce, which is basically Kyle and I having this conversation for 90 minutes.
They're basically like portable stir fry at that point.
That's why I love it, I guess, because that sounds lovely. Yeah. All good.
Yeah.
It's all good. That sounds great. All sounds great. But yeah, I would say, Robert, it sounds like you've found your playmakers. I don't think you need more suggestions.
And I think what a cool thought experiment you gave us to come up with. In my mind, I kind of ran with it in what can I win the game with by myself? And it's like, well, there ain't much left anymore.
No, especially since Greyman's kind of fall.
Yeah, and Malthael losing his Tormented Souls business.
Yeah.
All the changes to Dragonblade.
It used to be Malthael Thrall for me, and now it's Kerrigan Zagara, which I'm fine with, Zerg for life, but even though I'm not, I played Terran for a very long time. But whatever the case, I'm okay with that.
I want to get back on Zul'jin someday, but during this reign of Cassia and Johanna, ain't the right thing.
God, I can't think of a single reason I'd ever want to take Zul'jin right now.
Sweet sound design, man. That's really what it comes down to.
Oh, I love him. He's got his... When you're throwing the axes, the animation's great. This guy's such a good model. But I don't want to try that hard. I can't think of signing myself up for a harder win right now than picking Zul'jin.
Yeah. You got stunned right when you should have. Well, you died.
They drafted any way to mess with a character.
You died.
You died. Yep.
Same with Tyrael. But that's a passion project too.
Yep. So keep those emails coming, itncast@gmail.com. It's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of it. Thank you, chat room, for hanging out. I know we were not reacting as much as usual, but the AMA was a little thick. So, yeah. But if you want to join us live, twitch.tv/AMoveTV is the place to come and see Into the Nexus record live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, unless we tweet out at ITNcast that we have changed the time for some reason. Expect that around BlizzCon, for example.
Sure.
A lot of time changes, and then immediately after because of Thanksgiving, and then immediately after that because of holidays. The end of the year is a good time to follow ITNcast on Twitter and find out what the schedule's going to look like. But usually Thursdays, 5 p.m. Eastern. Come on over. Join us live. Huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Declan H., Cheesy Bob, and Pythagos. Thank you for the support, gentlemen. That's about it. Kyle, you do all sorts of other stuff around the web. Where can everybody find you?
You can find me over at twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson, where today we beat Frozen Throne with no cheats, which is one heck of an achievement.
That game's kind of hard.
It's 2 hours, 11 minutes. Final mission.
Wow.
A marathon.
I haven't played Warcraft 3 in a very long time.
Illidan is relentless.
Well, we did it. He was prepared, man.
Yeah. Also, Heroes of the Storm shows in the morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time throughout the week. So if you're looking for a morning show, Heroes of the Storm hangout, come join me and Kristen.
Awesome. If you're looking for a morning show podcast with Kyle and myself, check out Weak Sauce, spelled like days of the week. All one word, Weak Sauce, no space. Go and subscribe wherever podcasts can be found. We do it every Monday at noon Eastern, but it's really early in the morning for Mr. Kyle. Other than that, you can follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. All of the podcasts that I do can be found over at amove.tv. If you have World of Warcraft fever, and I know you do, you should check out my solo show, R2T2, because the last 2 episodes were all World of Warcraft talk. So go find it, R2T2, wherever podcasts can be found. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of Into the Nexus. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back next week for episode 230. But until then, good luck and have fun.
Take care.